I suppose if nobody's really reading your work, you might go on a crusade against other people's works of art. I mean, if, for example, you wrote trashy novels filled with filth and rather dodgy scenes, then you might take a sort of puritanical view of great art from the past, I suppose. If nobody is going to read my filth, why should they have anybody else's filth? Indeed, anything that raises an eyebrow must be censored. Well, let me leave you with that thought for a minute, and let's get on to something else. Hope Carasquilla. Hope Carasquilla was the head teacher from a school in Tallahassee, and she's been in Florence to the Uffizi Gallery, and she was the person who was forced to resign for allowing her students to take a course on the Renaissance and to have glimpses of Michelangelo's David. And she was appropriately impressed by the statue, all 17 foot of him in his current location. She was very excited by the fact that the location had been built to accommodate the statue itself. She said it was like a church. And the story of her dismissal, after parents complained about the statue, broke last month around the 23rd or something of March. The statue itself, as you know, was created in between 1501 and 1504 to stand originally outside the Duomo when Michelangelo was 26 years old. He went against the accepted convention of depicting David after his fight with Goliath. So the statue of Michelangelo's is David before the fight, and the sling is so barely visible that what we understand is that this is a symbol of somebody who is defiant, somebody whose wit alone is going to conquer the great giant, one of the giants who somehow or other, whose lineage somehow or other survived the flood. The David is a symbol of liberty and the republican ideals of Florence. And actually, when you look at the statue, it's worth noting the slightly enlarged head and the slightly enlarged right hand. Vasari says this is because of where it was originally supposed to be placed, and people were looking up to it, and that was part of the trick. I don't know. But anyway, all this, I think, parallels Nadine Dorris's project, which now reaches fulfillment under her successor, Lucy Fraser, to shut down access to Wikipedia. And all of this is under the guise of the Protection of Children, the Online Safety Bill. And it's a puritanical thrill of censorship authority because we can. It's going to usher in a big way, the age of the VPN, but it's also going to obliterate free thought. It's going to define restrictions, and it's going to call out all manner of perfectly reasonable art as dirty. And so we go back to, this is the spirit of Nadine Dorries, the person who peddles pages of filth that nobody can be bothered to read, or that they will only read once. They're not going to go back and look at it and admire. No, that's what you do with the David. You don't admire any of the pages of Nadine Dorries. You put them to one side, having waded through them. And I did when I was in hospital. I waded through every Nadine Dorries novel because I thought I should. Maybe I was wrong, but at least I criticize her from a position of experience. And as for the head teacher in the school in Tallahassee, she should never have been forced to resign over this. But I hope you've noticed the parallels.